Hey, it's Dania. I'm just introducing you to some more people that have been significant in my MS journey. They're actually the two ladies that were leading the support group that I went to. It was actually my first time ever going to a support group because there was nothing for anyone my age, but you'll get to hear the story of how they started and also how I became the group leader for them. But enjoy. This is Sarah and Beth. They are, well, I'm going to stop because I already introduced you guys. So, in another video. But Sarah and Beth, I really appreciate you guys so much for YPG, the support group you guys started. I did not go to support groups when I lived in Georgia because I wasn't willing to be around a bunch of old people. I used to say it another way, but I got better. Yeah, I got better with not saying the other. But anyway, I found out about you guys from a friend, so I'm curious to know, how did you guys start the group? What made you guys decide to start YPG?
Sarah, you want to share?
I wondered if you wanted to talk a little bit about YPG originally when you went to the MS Society before, you know, a couple months before you and I met. Gosh, 2000 what, 12, 13, 12?
Sorry. I could do that. Sorry, Mom was calling and she's probably going to call in again, so I'm going to have to still hit decline. But
you declined your mother?
Right?
I know. Well, you're recording. So it's fine. Well, no.
It was awesome already.
I know, it's going fabulous. I was diagnosed in December of 2009. And I just was gusto, like, this isn't going to beat me. I'm just going to do everything I can. What's out there? And I got in touch with the MS Society, and they just started they were doing like one-off presentations and different things. And the one that I went to was dating, marriage, and pregnancy. And so went to that. Is that where you went, Sarah? Did you go to that one? Is that where we met?
Oh, maybe.
I think that's where we met.
Yes, that is where we met. I forgot.
That is where.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. Yeah. But anyway, so I met other people. What's that?
Is that in 2012?
I think, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
No, it was before. Yeah. So, but before that, I also went to the MS Society, and they had a support group or some sort of committee thing, and I signed up and I went, and of course the first meeting the woman was gonna leave, so I was like, okay, let me give it a whirl. And
this was actually a young person's group that the MS Society was really trying to get off the ground,
right?
Because there's such a difference between you know, those of us who are younger in age and those who are older that were diagnosed much sooner before a lot of medications were, or any medications were available to them.
So I took over this organization that was basically fundraising. So they were doing different fundraisers and different events, and I was having fun doing different events. Did a couple, and I just couldn't sustain it. And then that's when I met Sarah a couple months in, and then we started talking, and it was like, why are we busting our butt to raise a couple of $1,000s for, you know, this disease that's getting millions? Yeah. So what is this little effort? What do we really need? And then that's when we really touched upon, oh my God, we need a support group. We need, not everybody's in their 60s, not everybody's in their 70s. And I was diagnosed in my 30s. And
20s.
So yeah, there you go. What?
I was in my 20s when I was diagnosed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that that's important. And, you know, Beth and I talked about it a lot. You know, we're just really, what we wanted to do is to build this community of support for young people who are battling MS. And so that's when we started the YPG group, and it was basically, you know, and then I think we tried to change the name of it because it's called the Young Professionals Group, and we really wanted to change it to Young People's Group because not all of us were working, you know, some of us were, some of us weren't. Yeah, you know, we were focused on more on like, what are our immediate needs and what do we need to talk about right now? What are we going through? And that kind of goes back to what you were talking about, Beth, with the dating and the pregnancy and the marriage and, you know, those types of programs. But it was really to build a community of support. And I was thinking about this earlier today before we got on the call. And I think that other groups that I've experienced, I feel like the connection is based on the physical appearance, right? Either the disconnect or the connect is based on that physical appearance of someone may be more able than I am, somebody may be less able than I am, you know, different age groups and things like that. But I think that some groups really stick together by that kind of level of disability. Whereas I feel like the difference for YPG is that we take every level of ability, and it's a shared experience as opposed to it's the shared experiences of life as opposed to just those shared physical manifestations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. Because that's a question that I get to this day, you know, when someone asks, you know, how are people? What is their ability level? I'm in a wheelchair, or I'm like, everybody's in there. So
Yeah.
it's not that you have to be in a certain condition to be able to come to the group, or even to feel comfortable, I'll say, in there. So, yeah.
And the one thing that we heard over and over again was that young people were having poor experiences when going to self-help groups. And so it was as much for ourselves as it was for others, also, you know. And Beth and I made a really good team in really facilitating that. And we have different obviously different positive qualities and qualities for improvement, and we were really able to kind of bounce that off of each other, which I think was also really important when we first started, because it was kind of like helpful. A lot of trust earning, and there were new people, and yeah, if you don't see them after the first time, I don't think they're coming back.
Yeah, it took a while to build. We had some people that came really, you know, constantly and all the time, and but then others, it just, you know, then we would have some couples that would come and they would bring a different dynamic to the conversation. And
well, I'm guilty.
That's another difference. I'm sorry, Dania.
No, I was gonna say I'm guilty because you know, I learned about it. I came up, I was like, that was great. And then what would I do every month? Oh, it's second Saturday and it's 12 o'clock. Shoot. So yeah, definitely guilty. But I just have to pause for a second because you guys act like you've been best friends since kindergarten. I would have never thought that you guys just met with the society. Like, you guys' chemistry is amazing. Like the friendship, all of that. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Love you guys very much.
Love you too.
You know, I think there's so many things that aren't blessings with this disease, but there are also so many things that are blessings. You know, the just the community of support that we all have now through YPG, and it's just expanding. You know, I don't know, it's really amazing to me to have that and to have built that, and that Dania keeps it going with this renewed enthusiasm to not only do it better than we did it, but to do it, to widen that out to other groups, the teenage group that you're doing. So it takes all of us to do this.
And so grateful for you for taking this on and taking this over when we needed it. And I mean, what you do for YPG is amazing, and I'm forever grateful. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for trusting me with your baby. Because
Right?
you know, that had to be difficult to let anybody, you know, come in there. It's like, okay, but make sure you hold the baby right. Make sure you do this. But you guys are amazing. And I'm like, sometimes I'm in there, I'm like, okay, what would Beth say? Because I think you do an amazing job with like pulling out the correct questions. And it's really like comforting because I'm a pretty direct person. So I, you know, sometimes my comfort level to people is, it's a little short. And so I'm like, when you ask a question, I'm like, that's good, you know, and Sarah, you too, where it's like, all right, they are great. You know, I love, and I'm going to say this and you'll probably laugh, but just the emotion, you know, that you bring to the table is great. It is great. Yeah,
So much.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's great. Like I love you guys. I love the relationships built, you know, with you guys, and you know, can call, and I'm sure in the beginning you guys got tired. Like, trust yourself, because I'm calling like I have a question. Do you think I should do this, or is it this, or you know, whatever it may be. But thank you guys just for caring enough about other people to even start the group. And you mentioned, you know, of course, like fundraising, yes, that is absolutely important. And you know, it's $1 raised or whatever, but I'm glad that it went above, you know, fundraising and then starting a group, you know. And so now, but now we can fundraise in the group, you know, to do the walks and whatever else it may be. And it's just good. I love the community. And you mentioned, Sarah, blessing. That it's a blessing because Dr. Azevedo, she came to group in January, it was, and she was saying how she heard someone call MS a blessing, and she asked the room, like, how many of you guys think MS is a blessing? And almost every person in the room, you know, put their hand up, and it shocked her. So she's like, what in the world? Like, you think this is a blessing? Like, but it just, you know, I guess like being diagnosed with MS, like it takes a special person to be diagnosed, and, you know, a different kind of mentality and a different type of strength with it. So I appreciate you guys.
Love you too. We've been on a journey together. I mean, if you think about it, this is just part of our ongoing journey together. Friends and family and all that community of support that we're building.
Right. Because you guys had some major life-changing things going on, amazing things. It was amazing too that it was at the same time. Like, you guys could not have planned that, you know, and it just happened. Two totally different situations at the exact same time, and both perfect. You know, I was going to ask you where my friend is, Sarah. I do like you, but you know.
Oh, he's at work.
Yeah, I know. Darn it. I love you. I do. I think you're great. Yeah. Yes, you are. I'll call later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
FaceTime later.
Yeah. And I still need to come to you, Beth, and meet your blessing over there.
You do.
Yeah.
We're not calling her in here.
No. Not on video.
No.
Like, no.
Just sitting here waiting, like, what are you going to do? When are you going to be off?
Right. But no, just, is there anything else that you guys want to say? Because I do have 3 fun questions that I have to ask everyone.
Oh.
Okay. So is there any points or something that you guys think is important for people to know? Actually, yeah, if you could just say something that you feel is important, you know, for people to know about, you know, with the group. And like, I'll give an example of, it was one of the Pomona, you know how every January the society does the MS breakthroughs?
Yeah.
And there was a woman there, And I guess she was diagnosed sometime in the 80s when there really wasn't any medication. And she was talking with a girl that is in her 20s. And she was talking to her like, it's terrible. You're not going to be able to walk and you're going to do it. And I looked at the girl's mom and I was like, can you please get her away from her? And I was like, and give me your number. So I just wonder, what's a tip that you guys, have? Because you're both, living with MS, working, you have your flare-ups sometimes, and some frustrating things like, trying to remember days. And it's like, it's always fun when all of us are trying to think of something and it's like.
When I send a Tuesday emoji and people are like, it's actually Wednesday. Like,
yeah. yeah.
That's always fun.
Right. So, but did you guys have anything that is like a key, something that you wish somebody would have told you when you were first diagnosed, or even towards the beginning of your diagnosis? Ooh, making you think. Sorry, I should have.
Yeah, that one wasn't prefaced.
Giving you a heads up. I just thought of it right now because I just think you guys give great advice. So we'll pretend like we're in the support group right now.
Wait, what was the question again? Oh, if I have any advice, I'm sorry. MSM. Okay. I think one of the points I would make is that everyone has their own opinion. So, be very careful about whose opinions you kind of let penetrate that bubble, right? Where you're getting the information that you need and the community support that you need. And there are a lot of people in our lives that want to give resources and research and this and that. And it can be overwhelming. And I would just say, take your time and, take the advice that's good and then leave the rest of it. Only take what you need. But you don't have to listen to everyone's opinion about everything that you should be doing during your journey with MS.
That's good advice. That's good.
Thank you.
See, I would have said, keep living. That's my advice.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Well, I would honestly say for me, the advice would be listen to your body. If you feel something is wrong, just get it checked out. Don't sit here and listen to everybody else, like Sarah was saying, in that capacity. Just go get it checked out. The stress of the not knowing is always the worst. Right. But if you're going to add to it and make guesses and assumptions, you're really going down a slippery slope. So just stop. Just listen to the body. If it tells you to rest. If it's telling you, if something doesn't feel right and it's new, go get it checked out. Yeah. All right. That's all I got.
One of the most difficult things for me. I was diagnosed in January of 2011. And I think one of the most difficult things is when you go from a type A, like go personality, and all of a sudden the brakes are slammed, but you aren't the ones that push those brakes. Right. And so it's kind of adjusting. And so I was laughing as Beth was saying that because I just envisioned myself like I go, and then I just crash, and go. And I think learning that balance, and I'm still working on that, but I think that's got to be very beneficial when we can get to a point where we have that balance and we don't push our bodies and instead we're listening to our bodies. And getting to know our bodies too. I think that's very important.
Because the doctors and everybody else is not in there. They have no idea. And they're not in your footsteps. So they're not in your feet. They're not walking in your shoes. You're not walking in their shoes. So just listen to yourself. Go with your gut. Always go with your gut.
Yeah, that was a hard lesson for me. And I think that's a common hard lesson. Sorry, you guys probably hear the dog whining because she wants to come.
I can't hear it at all.
I just heard a little.
Oh, okay, good, because she was just really loud. but no, that's one lesson that I do focus on with the teams. Like, don't, if you're having a good day, don't go 1,000 miles and then you're wiped out for the next 10 days. So thank you for that. And so now I get to ask my favorite questions.
Oh God.
So
I feel like we know these, Beth.
We're now
you
prepped.
said what?
I think we know these.
We're prepped now. I wasn't prepped before.
I had to, because I know it would have turned into like an extra hour. But oh gosh. But yeah, so all right. So making your favorite peanut butter and jelly sandwich. What would be on your sandwich? And I'll start with Beth.
So I do love the classic PB&J with the grape jelly. However, since the Nutella has been introduced into my life, it is now peanut butter Nutella.
Oh, not even jelly and Nutella.
No, just peanut butter.
Oh my God, what?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. Give it a whirl.
Oh my God,
that is okay, because Nutella is really, really good.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
And to go back to that PB&J, a Crustable. If you've never gotten those, which is
those are really
don't
good.
even get me started. I'm the grape all the way. Yes.
Yeah, I like them frozen, and I just let it thaw just enough so I can bite it.
Yeah.
Not thawed out. So yeah, it's like a little treat.
Count me in.
I have to get that one day.
Try that.
Mm-hmm.
You should. But I get never mind.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna tell my answer.
You gave it away. I know.
Yeah.
Right.
Not yet.
You know it?
Yeah, I do.
No. So Sarah, what about you?
I have two. Can I give two?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first one is any kind of jelly. I would prefer peach or strawberry with peanut butter, and then nacho cheese Doritos in the middle of it together in the sandwich. So peanut butter, jelly, nacho cheese Doritos, like that. And then you do like a little side of nacho cheese Doritos as well, because it just goes like hand in hand. So you got like some crunch with some sweet. It's very good.
Okay, well,
you're picking on my peanut butter and chocolate, basically. But you could put cheese on jelly and peanut butter.
Okay, is it crunchy peanut butter or smooth?
No. It has to be smooth, because otherwise I don't like nuts, like peanuts in like baked goods. So I don't like carrot bread with nuts in it. You know what I mean? Like that's not my gig.
You say carrot bread.
Yeah. Or cake.
She meant cake.
Oh, okay.
With the walnut.
I was like, all right.
Cake.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're winning so far with your peanut butter and jelly, and then you're
by
dream
far.
Age. Yeah.
Okay, so here's my second one.
Oh,
you had two
years ago as well, and it is peanut butter and sliced turkey. So like really shaved turkey, like thin sliced turkey. So you put peanut butter, and then thin sliced turkey. There you go.
All right.
Right?
Don't know.
Right.
Don't know. That's a TBD.
Right, like.
I would have to taste
No,
that
so
one.
good.
I'm gonna give that a whirl.
Right? Like, doesn't that sound great?
I'm gonna trust you.
Oh.
I'm gonna trust you. Yeah.
Nice.
That's what I'm gonna do.
When I get my next round, when I eventually go to the grocery store again, I'm gonna put in there some shaved turkey, and I'm gonna give that a whirl.
Will you?
I will, because
thank you.
I can't taste
you guys are friends.
if that's good. I just can't tell.
It's good. And it also has a lot of protein.
Well, I was going to say, that's got to be a good hangover cure.
Yes.
I could see, just because the turkey is a good hangover cure. Yeah. Personally, I learned that.
And I started eating this, a lot younger. I was,
Interesting. Yeah, that's like when you have nothing left in the house and you put it together.
Yeah, well, kind of. But I actually got it because they were like, oh, it's really good protein.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever, I I guess I need that.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we have to go to the next question. Because
Okay, that was good. Okay.
What in the world? Okay, so are you guys callers or texters? And Sarah, you can go first on that one.
Oh, I think I used to be more of a texter for a long time. And
Mhm.
now I think I'm like, I think I like to text and call more now. Not just because of the coves, but just because of everything.
Okay. And what about you, Sarah?
No,
That
Or
it's me.
Beth? Like I said, look, I'm looking
all
at Beth
this.
and I'm like, Sarah, call.
Yeah, I'm all this. Sorry, this is.
Beth is
Yeah.
all phone. Beth,
I will literally. I
oh
don't
my
have
God,
friends
wait,
because I won't
hold
text
on,
them anymore.
hold on. I have to tell this story because it drives me
Okay.
insane. Beth will, I'll text her and I'll be like, hey, I'm doing like blah, 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 or whatever. And she will never text back. I immediately get like a phone call and I'm like, dude, I texted you. Just shoot me back a text. Yes. Why you gotta call me all the time?
I just saw I missed your call, missed it, so I just figured I'd call.
No, when you text me or when
Oh,
I
yeah.
text you and then
No, I get it.
instead of returning the text, you're like, hey, yeah. So
Because there's other things to talk about. It's not just not it. I have to talk about other things.
I love you. I know. I'm just laughing because it has taken me a long time, but now I'm getting better at talking on the phone. So I'm like, all right, I got this. I got
Okay.
this.
Thank you.
Nice.
And I think it's hard to, especially during, obviously none of us are used to what's happening with the pandemic. And there's a lot of isolation, for a lot of people living with disabilities. And I think that one of the really positives that is coming out is that there's more accessibility to some of the opportunities to connect. If you're,
Yes.
if you have that access. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I have appreciated, just with everything going on with the COVID-19, is that things that were not available online, that you had to go in person, like my physical therapy classes.
Yeah.
You had to go in to take the classes, and now they're online and stuff like that. So I'm grateful for that, because there's so many things that I would miss out on because of not being able to drive or go out of the house, on my own and stuff like that. So yeah, but the next question, because then we'll just go into it is the dream age. If you could go back to an age, which one would it be? And you guys, either one of you can go.
Beth, I feel like Beth, you were like, I know mine.
Oh, I know mine.
Okay, what is it?
It's 25.
Yeah.
Because I just moved into Manhattan in New York, and I was working in the city. I had my own apartment. Everything was just great. I had my dog. Couldn't just 25.
Somebody else just said 25.
That's my year.
And what about you, Sarah?
I wouldn't go back to any of them because I think that I just like where I'm at. And I think that all of those things that, have made me who I am today, like I really am thankful for all those things, but I don't have any desire to go back and like experience all of them again. Like the positive too. I mean, you know what I mean? Like have those memories and all of that. And I just take that forward with me. That's my best answer, which I don't really know if that's a great one, but.
That's your answer.
It was terrible. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess any age I am, that's the age I want to be.
Yeah.
No. Really. Then when I get to like 60, I'm gonna be like, no.
But yeah, no. But thank you guys so much for just taking time out of your day to talk with me and tell people about YPG and why you started it, because that's important. And I don't think a lot of people know that there's not really groups for younger people, and it's not believed a lot that somebody is younger and diagnosed with MS, because I get all the time, you don't look like you have MS, you don't look sick, I'm like, thanks, tell my body, but yeah, love you guys and thanks so much.
Thanks, Dania.
Thanks, Dania.